I struggle on in this love to overcome this strife. The great conductor of Russia, I was born into a music-loving family. Alexander, a common name, seems to fit my life very well. I was the second son of three and very quiet. Although we lived in St. Petersburg, I always kept to myself, helping out with the family and playing instruments whenever I get time. Life was well. Yes, the great war. I was around 15 at the time, and my dad was assigned to compose and direct a piece for the Tsar Nicholas. On the night of the concert was when I first saw Tsar Nicholas, and unfortunately the rest as well. He was not a very powerful looking man, even with his decoration and suit. He was still slimming his appearance, and he looked very weary and in distress. Shortly after, when I heard about my hero, who I was named after, joining the Bolshevik Revolution, I too joined the Bolshevik Revolution along with him. Alexander Krasnov, one of the biggest conductors of Russian orchestra. I felt like I was close to him, and I felt like I have the chance to see his face, the man I'm named after. I worked during the day and studied during the night to get to play in the Russian symphony concert. I came so close when I was sure that I would be accepted into the orchestra under Krasnov. I was so certain that I would be in the orchestra playing under him that year. But at that time, I was conscripted into the army. I tried to fight it, but what could a weak musician do when the army comes? While I was conscripted into the army, nothing really happened. We would march here and there and hear about frontline stories about our brave men fighting the White Army. Even though I wasn't much of a fighter, I was still very excited about the war, even if I was bitter about being conscripted at the same time. A few years later, when I came home from the army, I heard Krasnov moved to Paris, France. Because of that, and as well that things are not looking very good for a musician like me, I decided that I should try and escape Israel. Didn't turn out very well. In fact, I lost my violin. Even though I was temporarily safe, I had to abandon my violin for my life. I was so distraught that I locked myself in for a few months before I could finally recover. It was like taking a piece of my heart out. Later that year, I went back to live with my parents. Now they got a hut under Comrade Stalin. He was very appreciated, and we sang songs about his greatness. Life was pretty livable at the time, but without music, without my violin, I was not satisfied with life. I dreamed of playing Raymonde in the French Theatre du Châtelet. I was deeply interested for good music. The hardest time of my life has probably been the famine. We barely had a piece of bread to eat every day, and people were dying everywhere. The cold and the hunger drove people crazy, and the only reason I survived was chewing on the bark of the tree in my backyard. You really have to dig on the sunny side of the tree, and you had to cut the outside out so you don't get sick. There were also tree sap. It was there to keep me from feeling too hungry. My 30th birthday was underwhelming at most, but I still clearly remember that a kid in Art Village presented me with a very beat up box of string. I remember asking what this strange box was, and found out that they made an instrument for me. This gift gave me great joy, and we played through the whole afternoon, forgetting about the hunger and the cold. played that instrument along with other instruments we could make or find until they broke, and then we would make new ones. Things got better. However, I still hold on to my dreams. My dream of playing Raimonda under Glazunov in the theater of Charest. When I was 36, I was able to sneak under the border guard's nose and escape to Finland. There I borrowed instruments to play for money. Because of my experience, I was able to get a few nickels. And then I got my own instrument. It was never as good as my first violin, but it was something that I could play with. I made more money, and then I was able to move to France. I performed there, but as I got there, I found out that Glazunov was dead. This news disturbed me to no end. I slowly worked up my way to the orchestra that Glazunov made, playing his music. But Glazunov wasn't there. It haunted me. I couldn't stay in Paris anymore. I felt like I failed myself, my name, and Glazunov. I felt like everybody on the streets laughed at me, mocked me. I felt lost, and I wanted to get out of there right away. I used the rest of my money to get on the latest ship. It was to Canada. The trip wasn't exciting. I was overwhelmed by the thought of Glazunov's death, that I just kept playing my instruments. There is not much to be said when I came to Canada, because compared to Russia, Canada was heaven. I struggle in this love to overcome this struggle.